Hello, welcome again to microeconomics. Today we are looking at surplus and shortage analysis. As a framework, sometimes there can be shortage, that is, if the price is below the equilibrium price, the buyers will want to buy more, but there isn't enough in the market because the sellers are selling less and less. Then the opposite is surplus. Surplus is excess supply, and this happens when the price is above the equilibrium price. So sellers want to sell more, but buyers are sensitive to the price, so they don't want to buy more. And so that creates excess supply. If you get a question in microeconomics that asks you to analyze the level of shortage or surplus, then this is what you do. And again, I'm using the orange as an example. So let's look at the market for oranges and see what happens. Would you buy more if the price was above the equilibrium price? Or would you cut down on the orange that you buy? What about the sellers? Will they sell more of the orange when the price goes down? Or would they sell less when the price of orange goes down? These two effects can affect the market in two different ways, and that's what we need to look at. So come with me and let's do the analysis. So again, I'm going to draw the demand and supply curve. We have demand as usual, and we have supply. Okay, supply. So let's say, for example, we have the equilibrium price at 5. Okay, and let's say, for example, we have the, oh, that's not very nice. We have the equilibrium quantity at 10. For example, again, we have our quantity here, and we have our, okay. So this is our standard equilibrium situation. Normally you have an E here, but because I don't want to make the graph too busy, I'm gonna exclude the E from the analysis. But let's make the assumption, okay, all of a sudden the price of oranges is gone up. Who is going to be happy? Who is going to be happy about the price rise? Let's say the price goes to $7. Okay, so we have $7 here. $7. You can see the price is above the equilibrium price. So what's going to happen is the buyers are going to reduce the quantity which they used to buy. The quantity that was 10 before, it's going to go down. That's logical, right? It goes down to, say, for example, 5 only. So only 5 oranges are being purchased by the buyers. But the sellers are going to sell more. As you can see, the sellers are going to sell more, say 15. Okay. So we have a problem here. Although the sellers want to sell more of the oranges, the buyers want to buy less. And so in the exam, you might get a question like this. What is the value of the surplus? How much is the surplus within this framework? Very easy to calculate. All you have to do is to look at the quantity supplied and the quantity demanded and do the minus, and you get your answer. So here we have the, you can call this the quantity supply, QS, and call this the quantity demanded. So all you do here is your surplus will be equal to quantity supply, which is 15, yeah, minus quantity demanded, which will be that 15 here, 15 minus your quantity demanded, which is 5, and so your answer here will be 10. That is your level of surplus. It's quite straightforward. Okay, what about if the question was about shortage? The shortage will be the opposite of what we've just done. So I'm going to change my color a little bit and see if that shows up. So here is your shortage. Shortage occurs when the price is below the equilibrium price. So in this case, let's assume the price is somewhere here. Okay, let's say the price is 3, for example. You can see that immediately there's a problem. Okay, this doesn't look very clean, but you can see that when the price goes down to 3, sellers are not willing to sell that much anymore. They have reduced the quantity they used to sell. They used to sell 10, now they are selling only 5. Okay, so QS becomes 5. You have to write QS here. Okay, this is now your QS. It's only 5. QD, on the other hand, which is the level of demand or the quantity that buyers are willing to buy, has increased. Well, that's because the lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. So you can see the price has gone down to 3. The buyers are willing to buy 5. So this now becomes the quantity demanded. So we'll do the opposite. Okay, so for shortage, we will have minus the 15. So it will be 5 minus 15, which again gives you minus 10, technically speaking. We don't tend to use the minus sign for shortage because it's already a shortage. When something is shortage, it means there isn't enough in the market. Okay? So in summary, here is what we've learned today. When you get a question in the exam that asks you to calculate surplus or shortage, there are 2 things you can do. Remember all the time that surplus occurs above the equilibrium price. So here is the equilibrium price of 5. The surplus is going to occur above that price. Any price above 5 is going to lead to excess supply, because supply is likely to be higher than the demand. So you do your QS minus QD, and in the first example we had 10. On the other hand, if the exam question asks you to calculate shortage, then there is all you do. You have to remember that if it's a shortage, then the new price is below the equilibrium price. So the new price here is 3. This 3 is below the equilibrium price. Therefore, you can see that your quantity supply, the amount of oranges in this case that sellers are willing to sell, has reduced to 5. Okay. However, the people who are willing to buy have increased from 10 to 15. So you can see more people want to buy, less people want to sell. So there's going to be a shortage in the market. Just think about it. Go to any vegetable market out there in the world. If there are more people queuing up to buy anything, it's likely that the sellers will be tempted to increase the price. Yeah, that's what happens. On the other hand, in terms of surplus, if the price goes up, then sellers will be willing to sell more. Okay, so hopefully this helps in your next exam. Thank you very much.